discuss more about the markets and how Dalal Street might pan out in the coming week is Pramod Gubbi, co-founder, Marcus Investment Managers. Thank you very much, Pramod. Will this rally tire? If one wants, a top-down view, do you think at 13,000 we are going to dither a little longer?
Well, it's anybody's guess. I think so far the markets have been driven by liquidity, and liquidity continues to remain benign. I think we've been given a little bit of a booster with the news over the vaccines this month, and looks like that's also looking pretty positive. So I can't see any other reason other than perhaps a surge in the second wave that we've seen in the West, and now hopefully not, but in some of the Indian cities. But otherwise, it looks like the market seems to be in a good wicket. At some stage, I think if it's clear that the vaccines are here to stay and hence we're heading towards a normalcy in terms of economic activity, we will need the fundamental data to support that. I don't think liquidity alone can drive the markets forever. I think the shift will happen between the macro to the micro, because several stocks have run up in anticipation of this recovery, in anticipation of that recovery showing up in terms of earnings numbers. So therefore, as we head to, may not be the Q3 results, Q3 is still early, but towards the early part of the next calendar year, I think the markets will start looking to see some demonstration of improvement in fundamentals to support this rally.
Pramod, hi, Prashant here. Just wanted your thoughts on the entire auto space, because when we come back next week, we'll have auto sales numbers. And again, the debate will start whether what we will see is a strong retail pent-up demand or channel filling, etc. But before I come to you, let's get a quick preview in terms of what the expectations are. My colleague Sonia is here with that poll. Sonia.
The month of November will be a strong one as far as auto sector is concerned. Now, there are a couple of reasons for that. One, the demand has been very good this festive season. There's been a huge bounce back in the rural and the semi-urban areas. The supply side constraints have been resolved, and also there's been a rise in personal mobility. So let's start with the leader of the pack, which is Maruti. We're expecting an 8.5% year-on-year growth to come through at about 1.63 lakh units. Now, we've polled 3 brokerages, Motilal Oswal, IIFL and Jefferies, and they expect that the passenger vehicle segment, especially market leaders like Maruti, will do well. Moving on to M&M, there has been, of course, a big rise in competition in the utility vehicle space, and that will drag down their auto volumes. But the pick of the pack will be the tractor space. So just take a look at this. A 68% year-on-year rise is what the street is forecasting in tractor sales to come in at 35,500 units. So this means keep an eye out on names like Escort, some of the tractor financiers like M&M Finance, Cholamandalam, etc. Moving on to the two-wheeler space. Now, as I said, this has been a very good month for rural sales. So a lot of the rural-focused companies like Hero will do well. For Bajaj Auto, we're expecting an 8% rise year-on-year to come in at 4.35 lakh units because they have exports as well. But the other players will all see double-digit moves. Hero will be the best of the lot. 18.5% growth is what we're expecting at 6.12 lakh units, and they had mentioned that the retail sales was very strong for them across segments. Even in the 100cc segment, things have been quite good. Take a look at this. TVS Motor 17.5%. Even Royal Enfield, the numbers are expected to be strong, although the last few days would have been impacted because of the cyclone in Chennai where production was shut. But other than that, 12.5% rally. Now let's go and look at the commercial vehicle space, which was the most downbeat. There as well, we're expecting a bit of a recovery, so 8.5% rise in Ashok Leyland sales. And finally, Eicher Motors as well. We're expecting commercial vehicle sales to rise by 10.5%. So expected to be a good month for the auto sector across the board.
Sonia, thanks very much for that. Pramod, so those are expectations. What would you do in the auto space?
I think it's a very early part of the cycle. We're clearly in the recovery stage of the cycle, and there's a long way to go, in my view. And obviously, the first movers are the two-wheelers and so on. And this time around, there have been specific factors which are driving rural demand as well, which is why tractors are also recovering. I think at some stage, if this recovery becomes more steady state and there is a broader industrial recovery, I'm pretty sure even commercial vehicles will come back pretty strongly, but I think we're a while away. So if given the stage of the cycle we are in, one should definitely be positive on auto as a sector. We continue to remain on positive on names like Maruti, Escorts, and Eicher, which have found their presence in some of our portfolios. And we'll look for a more steady state recovery in the commercial vehicle space as well.
Okay. Well, let me quickly play out to you what my colleague Sonal has filed on the gas stocks, which of course has moved because of the gas regulators' new unified tariff and open access rules. So here's Sonal with all those details.
Absolutely. Well, these stocks were in focus today because two regulations have been notified. First, on the open access regime, which means that they are planning to open up the city gas distribution space to more competition. This time around, it will be opening around 20% capacity to others. But the biggest takeaway was that OMCs and dealers, they cannot shift to open access. And this means that OMCs cannot actually terminate their agreements with the CGD companies and dispense their own stations. This was the biggest fear that the street had when the draft regulations had come out, and there was a fear that EPS could be impacted by 13 to 14%, volumes could be impacted by 20%, and hence a sharp decline in stock prices of these city gas distribution companies. Now do remember, both IGL and MGL have higher stations in deals with these OMCs, around 55 to 65%, and that is why a sharper increase in the prices of these stocks. The other second positive was that final norms indicated the stance towards these city gas distribution companies was slightly positive, and one of the sections which aimed at ending their exclusivity in case they did not develop the infrastructure, that was also done away with. So Jefferies says that there will be no negative impact on the EPS of these companies. Kotak, in fact, has gone ahead and increased the EPS estimates by 6 to 13%. It has also upgraded both IGL and MGL stocks as of now. The second one is the unified tariffs, which impacts the pipeline companies like GSPL and GAIL. So it aims at actually expanding gas consumption across the country and also one unified tariff for more than a dozen pipelines. What it means is that there will be one tariff. The average is around 57 rupees per MMBTU, and it will be divided in two zones of around 300 kilometers each. However, CLSA says that some of the customers that will be using this gas, for them the cost will go up substantially, for some of them maybe by 5,000 times, and that is why it is not legally tenable, or it is not basically practical, and there could be some legal challenges that this particular reform could face. However, MK says that this particular gas transmission rules, they are quite neutral, not much for the GSPL and GAIL, but irrespective, Street was waiting for these reforms for a long time, and now that they have come through, the stocks rose sharply.
Okay, Pramod, not much time, just a minute left. So gas or any other stocks that you want to leave us with?
Well, gas, I mean, we generally tend to stay away from regulated sectors, given that it sort of caps the upside from a long-term perspective, like businesses which can generate significantly high returns on capital. And if they're free to compete and free to price and take market share and grow over the long term, that gives a significantly higher upside, and hence we've sort of generally stayed away from heavily regulated sectors. But we continue to remain bullish on the financial space, particularly the private sector financials, be it banks or NBFCs or insurers, and that's something we believe is a structural story here to stay for several years to come. And if we can identify the ones with the better balance sheets and better competitive advantages, I think there's an opportunity for investors to make money over the long term.
Pramod, short conversation, but useful as always. Thank you very much for being with us here on this edition of Taking Stock. Well, that brings us to a close on this edition of Taking Stock. Lata, it's a long weekend. Plans?
Well, I'm at home, but I hope all of you have a blast and be ready for a truncated week. So lots to look forward to.